votes. And so I'll just state what basically what we're asking for, and then if one of the board members could make a motion to do that and then vote accordingly. So the first thing would be to vote to amend 19 NYCRR section 1106.1 to reflect changes from the 2020 to 2021 to the 2024 edition of the USPAP, and also make a technical change to the department's address up in Buffalo. So is there any, so the proposal to make that change and authorize the Department of State to take any and all appropriate measures to file a notice of proposed in the state register to do that. So does any board member want to make that proposal or to offer that for a vote?
Can I do a so moved on that?
Yes, you can.
So moved the motion, further repeat it.
So all in favor of the motion, indicate by saying aye.
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 Oh, we need a second to the motion, I'm sorry.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So passed.
Okay. So the second part of that would be to authorize the Department of State to take any and all measures to file a notice of adoption of the aforementioned proposal, provided there are no public comments submitted during the comment period that requires further board action. Does any board member wish to so move to make that motion?
So moved to make a motion to.
Second.
Yes.
Do I have a second for the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So passed.
Hi. Ms. Washington? Yeah. Hi. So we actually have another board member here.
Yay.
So we have a full board. Steve, I don't know if you want to fill in the board member what we've done so far, or just want me to do it or continue?
You can do it if we want to reopen the vote for the first two amendments, we can. We can leave
Sure.
them be.
Sure. Reopen the first vote to authorize the Department of State to take any and all action necessary to file a notice of proposed rulemaking to amend 19 NYCRR section 1106.1 to update the regulation to reflect the change from the 2020-2021 USPAP to the January 1st, 2024 USPAP, and a technical change to the Department of State's address up in Buffalo. So all of the board members present had voted in favor of that. And so for the record, board member Chanel Washington wishes to vote also in favor of that?
Yes.
The second vote was to authorize the Department of State to file a notice of adoption of the aforementioned notice of proposed rulemaking at the end of the close of the comment period, provided there are no comments submitted that require additional board action. All of the present board members had voted in favor of that measure.
Aye.
Okay. And for the record, it appears as if board member Ms. Washington votes in favor as well. The third proposal that I would like to present to the board for a motion would be, and this is because of the timing of the rulemaking, being how it is already November 27th, the traditional rulemaking is not likely to go into effect by January 1st. Therefore, in order to make it effective January 21st, the department is recommending to the board that they authorize the Department of State to take any and all measures necessary to file an emergency regulation that will take effect on January 1st, 2024 to amend 19 NYCRR section 1106.1 to reflect the change from the 2020 to the 2021 use PAP. Sorry, the 2020-2021 use PAP to the January 1st, 2024 use PAP, with the technical change to update the address of the Department of State's Buffalo office. So is there motion?
So
So move.
So
Hi.
we give you all,
Do I have a second to the motion?
Second.
All right, all in favor? By aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved.
Okay. And so the fourth proposal that we are recommending to the board for so motion, in the event it's required, to authorize the Department of State to take any and all action necessary to either continue the emergency adoption of the regulation that you just voted to take effect on January 1st, 2024, to amend 1106.1 to reflect the change from the 2020-2021 use PAP to the 24 edition of the use PAP, and the technical change to the Department of State's address, either by continuing the emergency regulation or adopting the emergency regulation on a permanent basis if necessary. So
Can I
does a
ask
board
one
member?
question on that, David?
Yes.
I just want to make sure that the years that we're replacing were 2020 to 2022 and to the 2024. I think that a
I
couple times you
believe
mentioned 21.
So let me just double check that. I apologize.
Actually, it's the 2020. Yeah, it was extended for one more year. I want to make sure that that's
Well,
correct in all the motions.
Right. So the current version has been extended
Right.
throughout this
2020.
time period, but the regulation,
Was
that
2020
isn't-
through 2022.
I believe it was actually only the current regulation in text says only the 2020 to the 2021, but I'm double checking that now.
Because the version was 2020 to 22. It was a 2-year version that was extended 1 year.
It's 2020 to 2021 for use PAP.
That's my understanding,
Got
but I'm
extended for
double
2 years.
right. So that's what I'm double checking.
Okay.
Okay.
But I believe Susan Baldwin, you said that correctly.
I have use PAP sitting on my desk. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd.
Okay, so if you have it on your desk, you'd know it's the 2020.
Well, I'm not at my desk though, but it's there.
Oh, yeah. So does that answer
Okay.
your question, Carol?
I just wanted to make sure it was consistent all the way through.
Good question.
Okay. So moved that we adapt the emergency or get power for the Department of State.
Do I have a second to the motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So passed.
Okay. So thank you to all the board members. Just for our summary and for public transparency, the Department of State will, as soon as possible, file what's called a Notice of Proposed Rulemaking to be filed in the State Register. It will change 19 NYCRR 1106.1. It'll delete all references from what's currently there for 2020-2021 to the 2024 edition of the use PAP in its entirety. It will also update the department's address for our Buffalo office, which is listed in that same regulation. We will also then, pursuant to the board's vote, file an emergency rulemaking to have the same thing go into effect on January 1st, 2024. And then pursuant to the other motion, we will file the notice of adoption at the end of the public comment period and/or pursuant to the last motion, continue the emergency regulation if we have to come back to the board to discuss any comments that were received. However, I'll note in my experience, since we've been updating the use PAP, we never get any comments because it's basically a non-discretionary requirement. So hopefully there's nothing that slows down the process. And thank you to all the board members. So that's all I had to discuss for new business item 2 on the agenda.
Okay. Is there any questions, comments, concern about what went over? All right, I really want to thank everybody for making it. I know that it was difficult. We had a meeting a few weeks ago and didn't have a quorum. We appreciate everyone making it after the Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you all have a good holiday in December, and hopefully we'll see you all in the beginning of next year.
Very good.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody,
Thank you.
have a good holiday.
Bye,
Thanks.
everyone. She did.
We're off the record.
Thank you.
I don't know who gave me the coffee, I don't know. Lisa? But you tell her I really appreciate it.
Harriet.